Breaking. Warriors make big decision right now. Golden State Warriors news. If you're a Warriors fan, you probably have your heart set on everything that's happening with the team, right? Inconsistency, fear of reconstruction, doubt if this is still the right path. I know exactly what it's like to follow each game in this anguish. Today, now, the Warriors made a big decision that could change the future of the franchise, for better or worse. In this video, I will explain, without further ado, what was really decided, what this means for the squad, for Steph, for our future in the playoffs, and most importantly, whether this decision brings hope or is a warning sign. So get ready, because you will leave this video understanding exactly what is happening with the Golden State Warriors. Before we get into all the details of this bombastic decision by the Warriors, quickly, if you live Warriors, suffer, vibrate, and celebrate with this team, then this channel is for you. Click on register below, leave a like, because this shows YouTube that you want more Warriors news, and activate the bell so you don't miss any important updates from the team. Do it now because, seriously, in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how this decision affects the cast, Steph, and the future of the franchise. And you won't want to leave the video without understanding everything. Ready? So let's get straight to what happened and why this decision could change the direction of the Golden State Warriors. Dub Nation, great to have you here with me once again. Honestly, this isn't one of those ordinary days where we just comment on another game or another rumor. The atmosphere around the Golden State Warriors is different, and you can feel it. If you follow the team closely, you know something is moving behind the scenes. And it's not small. Before anything, I want you to see this video or this text as a conversation between the two of us. Not as someone speaking from the top down, but as two fans who truly care about the future of this franchise. You who suffer with every defeat, who stay up late to watch the West Coast game, who get emotional with every three-pointer from Stephen Curry, it's you I want to talk to now. The Golden State Warriors are currently experiencing a moment that mixes past, present, and future in a very delicate way. On the one hand, there is still the essence of the champion team, the winning DNA that transformed this franchise into a reference in the NBA. On the other hand, the clock, age, and the natural wear and tear of a squad that has endured so many battles begin to take their toll. And at the same time, young talents are emerging, full of potential, but who have not yet established themselves as decisive players in every game. When we think about Stephen Curry, we can't pretend that he's at the beginning of his career. He still plays at a very high level. He is still the face of the organization. He is still the player who defines games. But time doesn't stop. Each season that passes is one less season in the window in which he can lead a team in search of a title. This puts enormous pressure on everything the front office does. Every wrong decision weighs more. Every missed opportunity hurts more. At the same time, looking at players like Jonathan Kuminga and Moody awakens another sensation. It's the feeling of someone who sees something being built. Kuminga, with his combination of physicality, explosiveness, and versatility, gives the impression that, if everything falls into place, he could become one of those players who change the course of a franchise. Moody, with his mature stance, reliable shot, and tactical discipline, represents the type of athlete you imagine being on winning boards for many years to come. And it is precisely between these two worlds that the Warriors are trapped at the moment. On the one hand, Curry's now. On the other, the tomorrow of young people. This is where the approaching trade deadline comes in, which always raises a warning sign throughout the league. It's the phase of the season when conversations stop being just polls and start to take shape. That's when general managers stop just observing and start deciding. It's no secret that the Warriors have been mentioned in a lot of behind-the-scenes conversations. And, among all the possible scenarios, one caught a lot of attention: negotiations with the Sacramento Kings, a division rival involving important names on both sides. The simple idea already causes discomfort in many people because trading with a direct rival is not something trivial. You know that any move in this direction will be remembered for years, whether as a great success or a costly mistake. The point is that behind this possibility, there is a very serious discussion about the cast's concrete needs. It's not just vanity, it's not just wanting a star. There are real problems that have been appearing frequently: difficulties in controlling the paint, important rebounds given up, lack of a constant second offensive focus alongside Curry, and at times lack of that of players capable of creating their own shot when the attack becomes stagnant. This is where Domantas Sabonis' name enters the conversation. He's not just any player. He is a center in a mature phase of his career, with an immediate impact on any team he steps on, produces points, rebounds, participates in creating plays, is capable of serving as the central point of offensive movement. When you imagine Sabonis in the Warriors system, your mind starts to assemble scenes almost automatically. Curry using Sabonis' blocks, well-executed light screens, two-action play at the top of the paint, passes for cuts towards the basket, shooters receiving the ball in a comfortable position. Alongside this, the name of Keon Ellis also appears. He is not the protagonist of the possible exchange, but he represents a valuable profile for any competitive squad. A young man with good defensive ability, energy, wingspan, and potential to contribute on the perimeter, especially as a defender of shorter guards and wingers. In a well-organized system, players like this gain space, grow, and can become very useful pieces in the playoff rotation. But, for all this to happen, there is another side of the scale. Nothing comes for free in the NBA. To bring in Sabonis and Ellis, the Warriors would probably have to give up precisely what symbolizes the future: Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and possibly a player with a three-point specialist profile like Buddy Hield to adjust salary and squad-building issues. And this is where the fans' emotions explode. Letting Kuminga go is more than a technical move. It's giving up on a promise. It's accepting that that potential may be realized far from Golden State. It's taking the risk of, in the future, watching a game in which he dominates for another team and thinking he could be doing that here. The same goes, on a different scale, for Moody. There is an attachment to following the development of players who arrived young and learned within the system. On the other hand, there is the image of Sabonis arriving and, in his first season, helping to change the team's status. Imagine a playoff series where the Warriors weren't so dependent on Curry for every decisive possession. Imagine having a center who dominates the paint, who holds offensive rebounds, who relieves physical pressure on the other starters, and who, at the same time, feeds the attack with quick and intelligent passes. It's a very tempting image. The Sacramento Kings, on their side, would also have reason to consider this type of move. By giving up an established star, he would gain youth, growth ceiling, and pieces that, with more minutes and responsibility, could flourish in another context. Kuminga could have a much bigger role, with more possession of the ball, more freedom to make mistakes and learn. Moody could establish himself as a very reliable starter or sixth man. And, if Hield or another pitching player entered the negotiation in a direction contrary to what was suggested in the base text, Sacramento would adjust the squad according to its vision of its own future. When two teams get to the point of discussing specific names, packages, and trade formats, it means they are beyond the curiosity phase. We're not just talking about what if, we are talking about concrete possibilities seriously analyzed by both sides. Still, exchanges of this size are rarely simple. They involve financial calculation, impact on the salary cap, performance projections, analysis of fit with the rest of the squad, and, of course, reading the reaction of the fans themselves. For the Warriors, this possible exchange has a very clear symbolic meaning. It would be the definitive statement that the absolute priority is maximizing Stephen Curry's gift. Not that the franchise ignores the future, but by giving up promising young players to bring in an already established player, the message is direct. We are willing to sacrifice part of tomorrow to try to win today. It is a type of decision that carries both risk and conviction. If it works and results in a strong title run, it will be remembered as necessary boldness. If it doesn't, it will be reevaluated as a costly miscalculation. Inside the locker room, such a movement would also have an effect. Veteran players would see the exchange as a clear sign of the board's commitment to seeking immediate victories. They would know that the organization is willing to go beyond speech and change important pieces to try to keep the team competitive around them. The young people who stayed, on the other hand, would understand that every space gained needs to be justified on the court. For the fans, the impact is even more emotional. Many fans identify with the process of developing new players. There is affection in seeing an athlete arrive at the team raw, make mistakes, be criticized, mature, correct mistakes, and little by little become a protagonist in important games. At the same time, there is a very real pain in seeing the team waste years of a superstar's high level due to small flaws in the squad's construction. Being without a rebound in a playoff series, not having a second consistent offensive reference, suffering from the same issues season after season generates fatigue. That's why this topic is so divisive. There is no ready answer. There is no perfect path that pleases absolutely everyone. There are risks on both sides. Risk of giving up a bright future for a present that may not materialize as expected. Risk of holding on to potential too much and missing the chance to transform maybe into now. Meanwhile, the clock ticks on. The trade deadline approaches, conversations continue, and the feeling is that, sooner or later, a big decision will have to be made, either to complete the exchange or to give up on it and follow another path. Sitting on the fence forever is not an option when the title window is limited. What I can say, looking at all this, is that we are facing one of those moments that, in the future, will be remembered as a turning point, whatever the outcome. Either we will look back and say, that was where the team decided to take a risk and reaped the rewards, or we will say, that was where we chose to hold on to the future and accept the consequences. And that's why your opinion matters. Not only as an audience number, but as part of a community that lives this team intensely. If you follow the Golden State Warriors, you know how much each choice weighs. You know that yesterday's success doesn't guarantee anything tomorrow. He knows that, without firm decisions, the team could be stuck in the middle of the road, neither rebuilding for good nor competing for the top with all its strength. So I want you to think calmly. If it were up to you, would you make this switch? Would you accept saying goodbye to Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody in the name of a strong bet on Domantas Sabonis and Keon Ellis? Do you believe this type of move would transform the Warriors into a team more ready to compete for a title immediately? Or would you prefer to see young people grow, even at the risk of not making the most of Curry's current moment? Write what you think. Explain your side. This conversation is precisely what keeps the relationship between fans and franchise alive. In the meantime, let's keep an eye on every update, every piece of news, every sign that something might be about to happen. If all this comes to fruition, we will be here together to analyze, praise, criticize, agree, and disagree, always with the same objective, to see the Golden State Warriors competitive, respected, and fighting for the place they used to occupy. And if nothing happens now, this discussion will still have value because it clearly shows where the organization is at and the type of decision it will, sooner or later, have to face. Regardless of the path the franchise chooses, one thing doesn't change: the connection with you, the fan, who is there following every step. And it is with this same energy that we continue, one day at a time, one piece of news at a time, always keeping an eye on what matters most: the future of our Warriors. So that's it. We are facing one of those moments that could go down in franchise history. Or the Warriors decide to speed everything up, give up maybe one day to bet on it's now, or choose to protect the future and risk living with the doubt of whether you have done enough while Stephen Curry is still at this absurd level. If this trade goes through, the entire NBA will stop and take notice. There will be commentators criticizing. There will be analysts praising. There will be rivals mocking. But one thing is certain: no one remains indifferent when a team like the Golden State Warriors moves so deeply into its structure. If it doesn't come out, it will also be a message. The organization chose another path, invested in another construction, decided to live with the consequences of what lies ahead. And this is where I want you to be an active part of this discussion. If you've made it this far, it's because you really care about this team. So don't leave without continuing this conversation. Once you finish this video, scroll down to the pinned comment and click on the Warriors Analysis playlist. There, I delve even deeper into all of this: exchange scenario, tactical impact, future of the franchise, evolution of young people, and what each movement means in practice. It's like an expanded universe of this content, made precisely for those who want to understand the Warriors beyond the headlines and rumors. Go there now, watch the playlist, Warriors Analyses, in the pinned comment, binge the videos, leave your opinion on each one, and let's continue together following each step of this possible bomb that could explode in Golden State. Because whatever the next chapter is, I guarantee you one thing, when the news drops, you'll want to be prepared. And we will be here, side by side, analyzing everything. See you at Warriors Analyses.